So as we educate future engineers, we hope that they'll be ready to address some of the world's biggest challenges in infrastructure, energy, the environment, and health. The National Academies of Engineering have identified 14 grand challenges in engineering for the 21st century. Among them is access to clean water. This is a global concern, from South Africa to the southwestern US to Mexico City, where they're facing a day zero crisis and parts of the city could run out of water in the coming months or even in the coming weeks. Our engineering students are ready to address these challenges, and they're excited to start looking for solutions. When we talk about access to clean water, there are a wide variety of solutions and technical approaches that can be considered, from new technologies to reduce water usage, to water recycling, to desalination. Our students are interested in exploring the technical, social, and economic questions around these problems. What will it cost to implement these new technologies? Who will have access to clean water? And what will the community acceptance look like? As engineers, students are not often asked to take courses in social psychology or in business, but they are asked to take a course in fluid mechanics, and that seems like one place where they could start to explore some of these problems around access to clean water. I'll show now an example problem that students use to practice their skills in fluid mechanics for the Fundamentals of Engineering exam. Now, if you're an experienced engineer, you might see some keywords in this problem like friction factor and head loss, and it points you toward thinking about the power that it takes to deliver water, maybe through drinking water pipes from one end of the city to another. But if you're a novice engineer, just not practicing in the engineering field, it's a pretty big leap from this problem to our question about how to provide access to clean water to communities. This problem is what we'd call a decontextualized problem. We've stripped it of the broader context and social concerns in order to just look at a specific engineering concept. In this case, the impact of friction on the energy it takes to move water through a pipe. And I'm not saying that these problems are bad or that we shouldn't do these types of problems. They do teach a very important engineering concept, which is we need to break down big problems into smaller pieces to make them accessible. Our engineering education is always going to contain some mix of these closed-ended, decontextualized problems and then bigger open-ended problems. But what does this mix look like? It turns out a lot of the decontextualized problems live in the first 2 years of the engineering curriculum when we're trying to really get students to learn some basic concepts. But if we have a curriculum that's heavy in these decontextualized problems, how does that impact student interest and motivation? And who do we potentially lose along the way? Well, if we look at some stats from the American Society for Engineering Education, it turns out we lose a lot of students along the way. If we have 100 students who start an engineering degree program, only 60 of them are actually going to complete an engineering degree within 6 years. We lose the other 40 students. And if we look at the stats for students in underrepresented groups, like Black and African American students, our retention rates are even lower. So why are students leaving engineering, and what can we do to help keep them excited about this field? Well, studies have shown that beyond factors like grades or academic preparation, the classroom and academic atmosphere have a really big impact on whether students stay in engineering. Some of the big concerns that students bring up include a competitive and individualistic environment in engineering, a feeling of isolation in engineering, and also a lack of faculty engagement and encouragement during the engineering curriculum. This can especially impact students from minoritized groups and those who also feel a strong obligation to serve others or have an impact through their field of study. With that in mind, what can we do to improve retention, and how can we make engineering engaging and interesting to a broad group of students so we have diverse viewpoints to solve engineering problems? Changes to the curriculum can certainly help. A number of schools have piloted curricula that integrate interdisciplinary design problems throughout the engineering education, from the very beginning to the very end of the engineering degree program. These include programs like the Integrated Engineering Program at University College London or the Engineering Design Program at Rose-Hulman. But these programs are fairly resource intensive, and it can take a lot of time to change your entire curriculum. We know, though, that the academic setting in the classroom is only one part of what students see in their experience as engineering students. Co-curricular activities also play a big role, and these can be an area where we can infuse some real problems into the engineering curriculum and get students excited. Some of the co-curricular activities that have been shown to improve retention include service learning, living learning communities, student organizations, and undergraduate research. I'd like to talk a little bit about undergraduate research because that's an area where I've been involved. A recent study of over 120,000 students in STEM fields across 6 different universities showed that even when controlling for factors like academic performance, demographics, and background, students who participated in undergraduate research graduated at higher rates than students who didn't. In fact, participating in undergraduate research even seemed to narrow the graduation gap for students from underrepresented groups. So we know there's some value in getting students engaged with research problems early in the curriculum. It increases some of that faculty-student engagement and interaction, and it gives students a chance to approach authentic problems. But to get students involved in undergraduate research, we have to let them know that it's out there, let them know it is an option, and how they can get started. That's why I've been working with a team of faculty from 5 different universities: Rose-Hulman, Lawrence Technological University, Baylor University, the University of Illinois, and Georgia Tech, to develop some materials to help introduce students to undergraduate research and get them excited about starting research early in the curriculum. What I'd like to do now is show a few clips from some of those videos and some of our student interviews to debunk a few myths about undergraduate research and show why it can be a great way for students to get involved with real engineering problems. Our first myth today: research is not for students like me. I think a lot of students have this picture of a researcher in the lab, spending all their time at the lab bench, and feel like they need to be committed to a life in the lab or getting a PhD if they want to do undergraduate research. But this isn't the case. There are a lot of different areas of research, from education research to computer science to the more traditional lab-based research areas. And undergraduate research can offer students a great way to prepare for other types of experiences, even outside of the academic setting.
I didn't really think that research was something that was applicable to me. I pictured that research was for people that were going to graduate school or that were just interested in that sort of thing. But really, I came to understand that research isn't just for people that want a PhD. It's for even people like me that are interested in going into industry just after college.
That clip shared a perspective from one of our students who saw the value of research for careers outside of academia as well. Another myth is that I have to wait until junior or senior year to get started on research. It's true that having more knowledge will certainly be helpful in research projects, but the biggest thing that students can bring to undergraduate research is their sense of curiosity. They need to have a willingness to think outside the box and to try new things, even if they're not sure that they'll work for the first time. These are skills that students have right from their freshman year. They don't need to take advanced classes to be curious. So through our videos, we want to emphasize that getting started in undergraduate research early can help students build a foundation in problem solving that they can then use for other co-curricular activities, like supporting internships or design projects.
I first got involved in research after my freshman year.
As I was finishing up my freshman year
And my sophomore year.
I didn't think I would be able to as a freshman. I didn't even think I would be able to as an undergraduate student. But being a freshman alone, I was really shocked when I was able to have the opportunity to do undergraduate research.
Being involved in research as an undergrad has allowed me to explore my passions deeper.
It really makes me feel great that I can dive deeper into problems that are of interest to me.
So getting started in undergraduate research early, let students explore their passions and then use some of their skills in future activities. Our third myth is that my contribution won't be valued in undergraduate research. And this is a tough one. When we ask students to do something like undergraduate research, we ask them to step outside of their comfort zone. They are not going to know the answers by definition. That's what research is. But we can do things to support students and let them know that their contributions are valued. That's why we show these videos to faculty members as well as to students. The faculty mentors can help create a supportive environment where hopefully students will have meaningful experiences and they'll be able to talk about them in the way the students do in these interview clips.
Coming right out of high school into a full-on research lab at college was very daunting at first, but the people there were very patient, they were very understanding. There's a real culture of like mentorship and sharing knowledge with others, and they're very open to you asking for help.
What really excites me about being involved in research is the unknown aspect and the creativity that comes in being able to achieve something that no one has achieved before.
The fact that I'm able to pursue a new idea or improve on that idea is the main thing that really makes me love the idea of research.
It's gonna feel like you don't know what you're doing a lot of the times, but that's part of being an engineer, is just being able to figure out a way to overcome the adversity of not knowing exactly what's going to be happening and solving that problem.
These were just a few clips from our full collection of videos and workshops that we've developed for students. Here at Rose-Hulman, I've also been involved with starting the Rose Research Fellows program to help get more of our first and second year students involved in research. We had over 100 applicants for the first round of the Rose Research Fellows program, and I was so impressed by the array of interests that students had, from topics like medicine, to bias and AI, to technology in their communities, to renewable energy. These are the passions that our students have, and these are the passions that we want to continue to develop throughout the engineering curriculum. We don't want to see these students leave engineering. Our theme today is interdisciplinary connections in a diversifying world. There are many ways for students to make connections during their engineering education, but undergraduate research happens to be one great way for them to get started. It provides access to a global community of scholars. It gives students a way to engage with authentic engineering problems, and it provides a lot of room for creativity and problem solving. So as we think about the engineering education of the future, let's ask ourselves, how can we remove some of the barriers to allowing students to engage with real-world problems throughout the engineering curriculum? How can we make safe spaces for engineers to try out new things and answer questions even when they don't know the answer? And how can we move beyond the textbook and start practicing engineering in context with our students? Thank you.